YouTube. It's me, Joe again. I'm actually redoing a video I tried to post up earlier, but for some reason it keeps saying there's an error and you can't play it and you can't see it or anything else. And it's one of my thoughts of the day, so I'm just going to kind of redo it. Basically, the thought of the day was I think video games should be sports. Now, if you look up what a sport is or what it's called, it's a game that involves either massive physical training and endurance and practicing, or mental. This is why chess is actually known as a sport and is hailed as a sport in many different countries, and they even have sportsmanship contests and everything else for it. Same thing with basketball, soccer, football, but those are obvious. But there's also poker's considered a sport, professional eating's considered a sport. All these things are considered sports, and all of them have the qualifications as sports technically for what they are. But so do video games, and video games have yet to be identified as a sport. And I think that people should be more aware that they are a sport, because they are becoming a more and more increasing part of people's life. And you could take them or leave them. I mean, there's a lot of young adults and older adults and even younger adults that would argue, oh no, video games aren't all that big, but they're getting huge. They're getting bigger than movies, and one day they will be bigger than movies. And once something's bigger than movies, well, then where do we go from there? And yes, a video gamer is an athlete. I know people don't want to understand that, but someone in the chess club is an athlete. They are an athlete. They are part of a sport. They are part of a sports club. So anyone that's a video gamer or part of a video gaming club is a sport and is part of a sports club. This is exactly why video games will eventually find their place in school too, for video game clubs, if they haven't already in certain public schools throughout the country. I'm sure there are certain schools that have done it. I haven't researched it far enough to see if they have or not, but like I said, if video games, if bowling, if chess, if poker, for God's sakes, if poker is considered a sport, I think it's about time we consider video games a sport. It's the only thing that makes sense, and it's the only thing that's fair. And then, then we'll have to give credit to the video gamers, and I think that's why people aren't liking it, is we'll have to give credit to those really good video gamers that they're athletes, or, big guys like me are athletes. And then you may be thinking, oh, so we're going to accept big fat asses as athletes. Look, we're already doing that in the professional world of eating, and they are considered athletes, and they're professional eaters. So, if we're going to let them be considered athletes, we might as well go ahead and just let video games become, because at least video games takes more more skill than shoveling food in your mouth and giving yourself a heart attack. There are many gamers that aren't fat too, that are pretty darn good, and they're not even fat. So, let's get it out there that video games should be a sport. They should be a sport. And, by the definition of what they are described to be and what a sport is described to be, they fit inside that definition. So, logically, they should be considered a sport. So, I appreciate you listening to me, YouTube. Sorry that my other one didn't post up. It was a little bit better and a little bit longer, but this is just a short abbreviated version of that thought of the day, which is I think video games should be sports. All right, thank you for your time, and please subscribe.